Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Investment Advice. Here's what's happening in the market today. If you guys want free news like this, that is syndicated, where you can get access to it, we have top stories from news networks like CNBC. We have cryptocurrency news. We have economic, real estate news, commodities, gold, silver. This is all free, by the way. If you go down to the link in the description, you can create an account and you can get access to this. But check it out if you're interested. So, this is what's happening in the market today, guys. This is what's happening right now as we speak. It looks like, let's go to the top stories and see. So, it looks like gold, first of all. And let's talk about gold. I think this is a good one. So, Ray Dalio has been a big proponent of gold for quite a long time. And for good reason. I mean, the U.S. dollar has been going down in value. And I think we're going to continue to see that. Just the inflation, if they lower interest rates, it just makes money flow easier. And we've already seen a tremendous devaluation in the last several years with COVID and all the money printing. And then they were down to zero interest rates, then they raised interest rates. So it's been all over the place. But overall, I mean, there's been inflation. The purchasing power of the dollar has gone down. I've been a proponent of gold and silver mining stocks. Gold and silver mining stocks right now are making a big move. And, I've been saying for several years, actually, even on this channel, when this channel was a lot smaller, that I believe ETFs like this, this used to be an under $30 ETF, is now trading at 65, right? And this is just an ETF. This is a diversified fund. GDXJ is another one. If we look at the VanEck Vectors Gold Miners ETF, this one is up 79% in the last year. Now, the question is, how long can this run continue? Because if you look at the actual price of gold, the price of gold is at an all-time high. But how much longer can this continue? Nothing goes up forever. And the question really is the gold market just getting started? So, Bridgewater founder Ray Dalio said Friday that gold and non-fiat currencies will become stronger stores of value as major currencies face devaluation risk amid mounting debt pressures globally. Speaking at the Future China Global Forum 2025, Dalio warned that the excessive spending and spiraling debt by the U.S. government has become unsustainable and that the world's largest economy is facing a major fiscal crisis that will put the monetary order at risk. And in all fairness, Ray Dalio has been warning about this for a long time, as have a lot of other individuals, like Peter Schiff, for example. Peter Schiff has been saying the dollar's going to collapse for, 15 years, ever since the 2008 financial crisis. And I've never been one to say that Peter Schiff is wrong or Ray Dalio is wrong, especially, Ray Dalio is one of the top investors out there. So when he says something, you should really listen. But just as an example, like this is what's happening, and this is the mindset of some of the top investors out there. The U.S. government has swelling debt that is 6 times the amount of money that it has taken in. Without a given timeline, he says the government will need to sell an additional $12 trillion in debt to cover the $2 trillion deficit, $1 trillion in interest payments, and rollover of $9 trillion in maturing borrowings. And this is just the tip of the iceberg if you think about all the unfunded liabilities and everything else. But keep in mind, it's not just the dollar. You can look at the euro. You can look at, I think Italy has had a debt crisis for quite a long time, very high levels of debt. And there's just a lot of nations out there that are dealing with the same thing. So it's not just the U.S. dollar. It's not just, America. But the problem is that America, if we go down, we are still the world's reserve currency. We still are the dominant currency that's used in trade, even after all these years. So after years of overspending, U.S. government has a swelling debt that is 6 times the amount of money. Okay, we just read that. Dalio added that he proposed to lawmakers in Washington to reduce the fiscal deficit to 3% of its gross domestic product. But politicians on both sides of the aisle have been reluctant to balance the debt level. U.S. President Donald Trump's massive tax and spending bill is expected to add $3.4 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. The U.S. dollar will, however, retain its dominant use as a medium of exchange, Dalio said, and we just talked about that. Although the rising role of Chinese currency in global trade will take some shine off the dollar. So overall, he's saying gold will continue to do well. Bitcoin is another one that has a constrained supply. I've been bullish on Bitcoin for quite a while. I know a lot of people hate on Bitcoin, fair enough, but like it's all about supply and demand. It's all about the ease of international transactions. How easily can you transfer the currency? Bitcoin is highly volatile, obviously, much more volatile than gold. But nonetheless, I mean, when it comes to gold itself, you can take a coin of gold, for example, and go anywhere in the world and exchange it for whatever currency that they have. Same thing with Bitcoin. If you want to do that internationally, the difference is it's easier. You don't have to transfer it physically, right? So that's where Ray Dalio stands in the gold market. There's a lot of other news out here, but I did want to kind of focus on the gold and silver market and talk more about that. I think that's a good topic for this video. If we look at commodity news, let's see what's the most recent news in commodities. So crude oil, commodities are never a bad bet, especially when we've seen all the inflation we've seen. And really over the last year and a half has been the big push in gold and silver prices. I mean, it's taken a long time to get up to this point. And, you can say, well, I'm just going to buy gold and silver. But, keep in mind that the stock market has far outperformed. I mean, U.S. stocks over the last 20, 30 years, you can compare them, right? But in the long term, you're probably better off just investing in stocks and real estate, But I mean, as of right now, if you're looking for opportunities in the market, gold is one of those things that I think will continue to go up. I am predicting 5,000 or 10,000 gold. I am predicting $100 silver. When that happens, I don't know. We're approaching $45 silver right now, I think. So as far as like ETFs to buy and stocks you can buy, I've talked about some individual stocks. But, we talked about GDX, GDXJ. So GDX is the senior miners or the more established miners. And then GDXJ is going to be your more junior gold miners, right? So this one is up 79% in the last year. It's already had a good run. Just remember that when you're buying these things. I mean, you want to be fearful when others are greedy when others are fearful. I'm not saying the opportunity is over for these ETFs. I'm just saying they have gone up a lot. But if gold and silver prices continue to do well, if we see 5,000 or even 10,000 gold, then I think we're going to see these ETFs continue to do well. SILJ, so the Amplified Junior Silver Miners ETF, this one's up 58% in the last year. Very well have outperformed the market, right? But over the last 5 years, it's only up 30%. So just remember that too. Like these are trends that are cyclical. They come and go. And the last time we've seen these prices was 2016. Okay, so keep that in mind as well for this ETF in particular. So it's been quite a while, right? And then we have SILJ. So that's for the junior silver miners, right? And then we have SILJ or SIL, which is for the senior miners or the regular miners. If you look at this chart as well, I mean, we saw these prices back in 2016, I would say. We just surpassed those all-time highs. Then you have to go back to 2012 to see the same pricing. So it's taken quite a while to get to this point. But if you're looking for ETFs that you can benefit from for the silver and gold bull market that we're currently in, as Ray Dalio says, I mean, I think we are in that bull market now. And I think, with all the deficit spending, inflation, I mean, it makes sense that there will be further devaluation in fiat currencies. And the dollar is no exception, even though we are technically still the world reserve currency. Now, with that being said, if we take a look at one more ETF here, there's SIL, SILJ, GDX, GDXJ, and then we also have, let me find one more here that we haven't beat, best ETFs for gold and silver. See what comes up here. I'm curious what other ETFs we can find. So we have the iShares Physical Gold. No, let's see. I mean, there's the iShares Silver Trust itself. Mining. I'm talking about mining stocks though, because we want a leveraged bet, right? We don't want to just buy the index. We want to buy the actual ETFs that have the leveraged bet on gold and silver. And so the way you do that is you can look at, for example, the Sprott. That's another one that I mentioned. Sprott ETFs. SGDM is a good one. This one is the Sprott Gold ETF. If you look at the Sprott Gold Miners ETF, is up 81% in the last year, 59% in the last 5 years. And this one has really taken off. I mean, at the max chart, this one has, I think, outperformed. I mean, it is a little bit newer, so it's only been around since 2014, but even those 2016 highs, 2020 highs, we're far surpassed that at this point. So that's the Sprott Gold Miners ETF. Now let's find the Sprott Silver Miners ETF. If we look at that one, Sprott Silver Miners, there has to be a Sprott Silver Miners. Here it is, SLVR is the ticker symbol. So Sprott Silver Miners and Physical Silver ETF over the last 5 years, over the last year. This one's newer, it looks like. So this one's been around only since January, and it's already gone up quite a bit. So from $21 to $37, 74% just since the beginning of the year. So definitely have outperformed here in terms of gold and silver. And like I said, if you guys want free news on the market, come on over to, sorry about that. Come on over to my website, the project that we're working on here. This is the one that, I've built this, and I'm still working on it. If you're interested, check it out, though. You will have to create an account, but it's free. You can come here. We have some free tools and resources. You can take an AI behavioral coach assessment to give you insights on your specific risk tolerance and like what your psychological risk factors are in the market. So that's helpful. We have financial calculators for calculating stock market price to earnings, and all kinds of stuff. So check this out if you're interested. Like I said, that's how we found this Ray Dalio article. And this is all recent news that's coming out, like breaking news, syndicated across all the major news networks. So if you're interested, check it out. But like I said, Ray Dalio is bullish on gold and silver. I've been bullish on gold and silver. But it's not everything, right? And so like you have to diversify. Ray Dalio is a big proponent of diversification. And actually one of the things we launched on our pro service here that we're still kind of working on, but we actually have like AI versions of Ray Dalio and Warren Buffett to give you insights and recommendations. So you can check that out too if you're interested. Create an account down below, and then you can come on over here and check out the app itself that we've built and the free news that you can get, so you can keep up with everything happening out there. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Ray Dalio is bullish. Are you bullish? What do you guys think? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What gold and silver ETFs, if any, are you looking at? And with that being said, we will see you all in the next one. Take care.